What's up, mathematicians? Today we're talking about the order of operations, and what do I even mean by the order of operations? Well, I mean the steps that we take in an exact order to solve a math equation. Notice how I emphasized in an exact order, because that is really what the order of operations is all about. It's doing things in an exact step-by-step process to get the right answer. And I can tell you, I know people who know students who are really awesome at multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. And if they miss even one step in their order of operations in solving a math equation, they'll get the wrong answer. So it's really, really important to know the order of operations. And what are the order of operations? Well, let's start. So the first step is parentheses. Parentheses look like this, like a C and a backward C. And if you see it in a math equation, let's just use this, 2 plus 3, and you might see parentheses around it. That means you do that part first. Whatever's in the parentheses, you do first. Next, we're going to talk about exponents. Exponents are those little numbers, top right-hand corner of a number, and a little bit smaller, and it tells you how many times to multiply a number by itself. So 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 8. And next, we have multiplication and division, which we have to do left to right. You know, when I was younger and I was learning the order of operations, they didn't emphasize left to right when I was learning it. And without that note, left to right, it's very easy to make a mistake. And it doesn't matter if you have division before multiplication. It's like kind of like an either or. Whichever one you see, you do multiplication or division first, left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. You add and subtract left to right. That's the fourth step. One way to remember the order of operations is with this acronym, PEMDAS, PEMDAS, which stands for Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. That's how I learned it when I was young, and I think that's how they're still teaching it now, and it's how hopefully you'll remember the order of operations until you no longer need it because you are solving so many math equations that you just know it instinctively. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. And there you have it, our order of operations. And you can say to yourself, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, to remember the first letter, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, whenever you're solving a problem. So let's get right to it, my friends. Let's answer something, a math equation using the order of operations. Let's start with this problem. And I'm going to put PEMDAS here. And I'm actually going to group these together. I think it's important to do that. And one thing that I strongly encourage all my students to do is to rewrite the problem and put parentheses around the operation that they're going to do first. And then keep rewriting it. I'm telling you, this is the best way to avoid errors. I have seen so many people get equations wrong because they're rushing through and they don't write every step out. So I'm going to encourage you to do that too. So 4 times 3, that equals 12. 12 minus 2 times 2. I went ahead here, actually. I should have said parentheses, there is none. Exponent, there is none. Multiplication and division, yes, there is in this problem. And so we're going to do that first. 4 times 3, that equals 12. And now we're going to do minus 2 times 2. We're not done with multiplication and division, so we're going to keep going. And then 12 minus, and then we do 2 times 2, that's 4. And 12 minus 4, that equals 8. So the answer to the original problem is 8. Moving on to something just a tad more complicated. What if we have the equation? Let's do a different color, guys. How about some pink today? Let's do 6 times 3 minus 4 plus 2 minus 3 times 5. Ooh-wee, what does that equal? Well, I'm going to do what I encourage all my students to do. First, I'm going to write PE, and I'm going to put MD in parentheses, and then AS in parentheses. PEMDAS. I'm going to write PEMDAS out. And I'm going to rewrite the equation because I always do that when I'm answering a long equation like this. And then I'm going to put my own parentheses in because, actually, I'm getting ahead. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look. I'm going to say, is there any parentheses in this problem? There is not. I can move on. Are there any exponents in this problem? There aren't. I can move on. Is there multiplication and division in this problem? Well, yes, there is. So I'm going to put my own parentheses in where I see multiplication and division. And those are the steps I have to do first from left to right. So now I'm going to rewrite the problem again. 6 times 3, that's 18. And then I'm going to do this part. 3 times 5, that's 15. And now I'm going to insert the rest of the equation. All right. Now I go back to my order of operations. Is there any other multiplication and division? Nope. Now I'm on to addition and subtraction. Left to right. Okay, so we're going to do addition. We're going to rewrite, and then, which I did, oopsie doopsie. I'm going to put my parentheses around what I'm going to do next, because that helps me keep track of where I am. 18 minus 4, that's 14, plus 2 minus 15. Now I'm going to do 14, let me do yellow again. 14 plus 2 next. Now some of you might find all this extra writing unnecessary, but I'm telling you, as you get to larger and more complicated problems, it will help you. Now I have 16 minus 15, that equals 1, and there's my answer. Now let's turn up the heat and do an even more complicated problem. Are you ready for this, guys? All right, let's do 4. Let me do a different color. I like to mix up the colors. Let's do 4 plus 3 to the power of 2 plus 1 times 8. Ooh-wee! What could the answer be? Now, I'm going to do what I tell all the students to do, which is to rewrite the problem and then put parentheses around what I'm going to do first. So let me put, I forgot to write PEMDAS because I want to make sure that you all keep track of where you are in the steps of the problem. I'm going to put my parentheses in there. Actually, you know what? I should put that in a different color. PEMDAS. Okay, let's get back to it. 4 times 3 to the second power plus 1 times 8. Well, I'm going to start by saying, are there any parentheses? There aren't. Can move on. Are there any exponents? Why, yes, there are right here. So I'm going to do that first. 3 to the power of 2 is the same as 3 times 3, which is 9. Now I'm going to write the rest of the equation. Are there any other exponents? There are not. How about multiplication and division? Is there any multiplication and division? Wrong color. Multiplication and division. There sure is, right here. 1 times 8. So I'm going to do that part next. 1 times 8, well, that's just 8. Now I'm going to write the rest of the equation. Now going back, I did all my multiplication and division. Now, is there any addition and subtraction? There sure is, but I have to remember to do it left to right for good practice. Even though here it wouldn't actually make a difference, I'm going to do it anyway because it's good practice. So what is 9 plus 4? 9 plus 4, that's 13, plus 8, well, that equals 21. And there is my answer. 21 is my answer to the equation. All right, we're going to turn the heat up just one more time and do another problem. And it's going to look like this. 4 plus 3 to the second power plus 1 in parentheses times 8. Oh, there's a lot going on here. Can we solve it? I think we can. I'm going to erase this top part here because I'm going to write at the very top, PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses around here. All right, let's get to it, guys. The first thing I'm going to do is check. Do I have parentheses in this problem? I sure do, right here. So what do? I'm going to first I have to rewrite the problem. I always do that. I rewrite the problem, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to say, oh, I got to do the parentheses first. And then within the parentheses, now this gets interesting. Within the parentheses, I also have to follow the order of operations. So, parentheses, exponent. I have to do this exponent first. Oh, how complicated is that? 3 to the second power is 9 because it equals 3 times 3 plus 1. Going to keep that in parentheses. Going to rewrite all the other parts because I want to make sure I don't make any errors. Now, keep on with the parentheses. 9 plus 1, that's 10. Then I'm going to write the rest. Okay. Now let me go back to my order of operations. I did parentheses. We're all done with the parentheses. Well, I put that in parentheses, the 10, but we can ignore that. Exponents. Are there any exponents? Well, we did the exponent within the parentheses. How about multiplication and division? All right. There is multiplication and division. In fact, we've got the 10 times 8 there, so we're going to do that now. 4 plus 10 times 8. I'll just rewrite it so that it's clearer. 10 times 8, that's 80. Now I'll write the rest of the equation. And I know we do addition and subtraction last. And that's all there's left anyway. 4 plus 80, that's 84. There is my answer. There's my answer. Now, all of this can seem really straightforward and not particularly challenging. A lot of people say that. I have a lot of students say that's easy. But I am telling you, there is no other topic really that I teach where I see more errors than when it comes to order of operations. And as with anything, practice makes progress. So give yourself some equations, write them out, see if you can solve them following the exact order, because it must be an exact order. And good luck until next time, mathematicians.